Okay, so today as we wait for me to do my first 10K draft of the next expansion, which I like to do right when it comes out, and I think we always miss it by like one day, right? Yeah, it would be tomorrow because I only play on Monday. So what a troll thing that is. I would like to do it as early as possible so we at least subvert people tryharding and metagaming as much as they can, even though, you know, still they would have done it ahead of time and already known the cards and stuff. But to whatever extent, it gives you the most fresh, raw experience possible doing it right when it comes out, but we always do it a day before. So now it'll be a whole week into it before I finally get to do it. So in the meantime, right, that'll be what we do next episode. So in the meantime, I want to sort of cap off the end of the Permadeath Deck Gauntlet thing that I was doing, where I was doing like best of threes only, and I was doing in the timeless mode, I was going through, we have the Badlands at home. I can't believe they're doing this. So they copied Castle Nathria, and then they're copying the Badlands expansion. Again, the irony of the game that Hearthstone was always accused of copying, even though, you know, whatever, it's kind of come full circle now. The point being that, yeah, nothing in this expansion really caught my attention too much, mainly just because there weren't any dinosaurs. But we went through all of these sort of old decks that I had used, right? And so it was even unhighlighted to show that, oh, they're all gone. So now as a consequence for doing that, we went with each one until we lost a game, which didn't take too long to resolve that. But yeah, mostly a lot of them are the same thing. So now I'll play blue, one of my least played colors. Also white is one of my least played colors. But I'll make a blue deck, right? So in other words, we're being punished for that, though, after that, or whatever. Whether we would have lasted longer or not, we still would have basically used that as a chance to move on and say, okay, we've used green enough over the course of this playthrough. That's almost exclusively what I've used. Like, I've used green the most, then I've used probably black, you know, almost the second most, but mainly that's through drafts or other hybrid type stuff. So black and red are kind of in the middle, and then blue and white are at the bottom. And I mean, I always say I like black's aesthetic, but mechanically not always so much. But let's make one that is, again, it's not that I'm not still allowed to use dinosaurs or hexproof and stuff. In fact, I almost exclusively want to use hexproof, but somehow there aren't just going to be enough of them. That's the problem, right? Like, what? That's one thing that blue has going for it, is that most of the hexproof things are blue, right? And I do love that mechanic. So that's the whole point. We're not playing blue because we like hexproof, or I mean because we like using spells, but because we want to stop other people from using spells. And so that's not normally what you would associate with it. We could make one where we try to buff the thing. We summon the Invisible Stalker. We have like 4. Yeah, let's actually try that. That seems like a fun idea. We have like 4 of these, and we just try to buff them and just get them to finish the opponent off where they can't do anything about it aside from basically being able to use like AoE, and the active buffing, it would also prevent them from doing that. Well, let's also do other hexproof stuff. Gets +0, +3, and gains hexproof till end of turn. That's no fun. We should just see like all the blue cards that I have, period. I don't understand the until end of turn thing. Like, what good does that do? Tap target creature end of turn. Like, what the fuck? Target snow land. Okay, I'm not gonna use snow lands. Enchant creature you control enters the battlefield until end of turn. Like, all of them are like that. I don't get it. Whenever one or more non-token merfolk, they copied murlocs with that. Haha. Enchant creature. At first I was saying that as a joke, like, oh, this seemed like it copied Castle Nathria, right? This expansion, because even the namesake is stated so similarly. Murder at Castle Nathria versus murder at Karlov Manor. But it literally is, unless again that was some physical set that they previously had like 10 years ago that they're just rehashing now. But I don't think that's the case. Target creature gets, okay, end of turn. Yeah, that's kind of cool, because I was even posing this every time I would use this card. Like, you could theoretically just build a deck around this, even though it's not that good. It's like, it can't be blocked and it's hexproof. So all you would have to do is get its health value up a little bit, and there's almost nothing you can do about it, right? Amass zombies, no. How about one that we should just put a text that excludes that until end of turn? Stop showing me that, dude. Enters the battlefield, hexproof until end of turn. What the fuck? Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to put this in there just because it's garbage in and of itself. Hexproof until end of turn. Okay, fine. Has base power and 4/4. Okay, now this is, no, it's still until end of turn, which is still not bad. I mean, that for 2, you're getting a 4/4, even if temporarily. Enchanted permanent has hexproof. For 3. When it leaves the battlefield, if it was historic, yeah, like my whole deck is always like that anyway. I wouldn't even know the difference in half of these things. Right, because I've only played in historic, and that was my first time playing in timeless, which I guess is even less restricted, so maybe I'll continue to do that here. And I love the best of 3 thing too, because, you know, it gives you a little feedback as far as RNG considerations. Like, you know, you just have a bad start, a bad hand, whatever. It kind of helps make up for that. Or they just get super lucky. They get Exodia in their opening hand, equivalent, whatever. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, I'm not going to really be committing to that. This seems fine. I don't see why. I mean, why I shouldn't at least theoretically have it. But I think everything I'm going to have in here is hexproof anyway. And by the way, the overall format of the series for me is I'm trying to collect like every green card in the game. So you might think, oh, why have I crafted so many of other things? Because it's kind of like the long game. You have to keep yourself interested or give yourself variety. Not that I don't like green anyway, but that would be like the whole win condition. We have to get to Mythic at least once just for the sake of it. And then we have to craft every green card in the game, which the game will probably go offline before I ever get to do that. Maybe if I had only crafted green cards, you know, all the time, which I haven't done at all, I've crafted so many of other colors, then it would have been possible. But even then, you're not going to keep up with every expansion. As long as you have the City's Blessing, okay, I don't care about that. There really aren't that many, though. I was even giving it praise. Like, you get shitty ones like this. But this is actually the perfect time to do that. Like, let's just max it out. Everything is full on hexproof. And then the only other thing is I want buffs, which are not till the end of turn. Some of these I won't be able to make, though, obviously. There's got to be one that's, like, really good, though. Which most of these are not. Right? Most of these are terrible, in fact, but I'm just doing it for the commit. So it doesn't mean I can't still commit to a gimmick sort of mechanic. Right? Even though some of these might have been in those decks that I was using. I never said that I can't use some of the same cards, but I just said I couldn't use the exact same decks. Artifacts don't really care. We're gonna run out of. How is it? Look how perfect that was. We had like enough to craft a couple of each of those, but they were all different rarities of cards, right? And all pretty bad, but like those were all 3 different ones, so it let us craft like 4 of each of those. So that's actually pretty good. Just as far, not as far as card quality, but as far as at least the number, if we keep doing that. When it enters the battlefield, this is like that thing from, oh shit, this is a mythic one too. This is like the Mesmer from Subnautica, even though I haven't played it. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/2 with whenever this creature blocks a creature doesn't untap. Has hexproof as long as you control an illusion. 5 mana for 2. Whenever this creature blocks, that creature doesn't untap. This seems kind of like a fun card, but I mean, let's see if there's not a better hexproof one, potentially for mythic or whatever. This is a dinosaur. I would be able to make one of it. But see, the fact that you have to choose that is so dumb. It should have both, right? What's the point in it having hexproof if it doesn't have flying then? What the fuck? That's how you know something is bad. That, okay, I've run out of these. I should have probably waited and looked further for something more. Like, this is so expensive, though. 5 mana for it. Not that these are exactly great value anyway, so I guess I can just deal with it. I do love this one turtle that forces everything to attack, so they can't hide behind all their stupid shit and cast spells all day. In fact, it almost makes me want to make 4 of those, but I doubt you're really going to use them. Right? I'm just kind of wasting all my wild cards. I'm even willing to use a mythic one. As long as you control 4 or more artifacts. Fucking... Yeah, this one's even dumb. Like, I'm not even going to make it because I wanted to have hexproof all the time. I'm considering doing that, but you're trying to tell me there's no other mythic with hexproof that's good? Like, hexproof, 7... They're too expensive, though. Picture is kind of cool, though. 7 mana... 5/5. Like, what the fuck? Whenever it attacks, scry 1. 7 mana, 5/7. I guess I can live with that. Yeah, this would be the only reason why I would like blue and why I've used it only in the past. Tap creatures, have hexproof. This is green, so why is it even mentioning that? Because it has this in there, I guess. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, it gains flying. If it hasn't dealt damage yet, and these are going to be all hybrid ones. I'm trying not even to use hybrid stuff. So what is a mythic hexproof one? I guess there isn't one. The closest would be this, which is not even that good. would it actually understand what I'm looking for there? Fuck. Like, you want these as two separate entries. I guess we could just look through hexproof overall, but I mean, we could still make this a hybrid thing. Like, how many? There just aren't enough period in the game at all. Like, this is something that Hearthstone does to you too. Like, there's not enough. Or I should have saved some of my shit. Here, let's just do it out of the sake of it, but that seems like a complete waste. Like, this is not a particularly good or exciting card at all. So, assuming we do at least like 20 lands, or by which I mean 20 waters, haha, we would get to put the rest should just be like buffs, I suppose. But I like to put a variety of these in there too, different picture for each. So let's see, we'll be at 42 by the end of this. That's one thing I don't think I've really ever bought from the shop or whatever, is you know, as much as I waste gold on cosmetics, it is a free-to-play playthrough, but I'll still, you know, set myself back that way. Is I will often get like all the other cosmetics, like a pet or something once in a while, but I don't think I've gotten really too many of the lands. So if you just put in like plus something, that should show you right there. I give it plus something, except not end of turn. Right, so anything, so if you could give that guy flying too, but it wouldn't matter, right? If you give the Invisible Stalker flying, it's going to be, the problem is we don't have enough stuff in the middle here. Like, there's nothing between 2 and 5 cost, and these are horrible value too. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? I don't get what this is. Create 2 0/2s. Whenever the creature blocks, it doesn't untap, so you get to do that twice. Like, it's not terrible, but it's like, it should just be hexproof, period. As long as you control an illusion, it's also hexproof. But like, why does it even matter? Like, it could just die off the next turn and it wouldn't matter. The ones that are actually giving you value is the illusion, right? They're gonna have the effect anyway, regardless whether that one's around. This one's garbage too, but again, if you could buff it, any of these could be potentially dangerous. You almost need that weird werewolf chick that buffs everything, but that's a green card, so I'm going to try to punish myself for doing so badly in that permadeath gauntlet thing with all the decks that I'm not going to actually use it. Hey Nightmare, welcome back. So let's see what kind of buff things we have. +1/+1. It's just got to be a permanent buff, which I guess you just don't have any of those is blue. So that goes against my whole fucking premise of this deck. Enchant creature, like, that's going to have to be good enough. Like, is there nothing? I don't care even if it costs a little bit more, right? But why are there no good buffs for this at all? Or I guess I maybe would have to craft them. +1/+1 and flying. Yeah, like, why isn't that? Fuck, but I don't have enough of these low. I pretty much wasted all the cards that I have, except for the rare ones. Ascendant becomes a spirit warrior, base power 2/3. If put 2 +1/+1. Okay, this is all related to itself though. Until end of turn, you got to completely block those ones out. Whenever you get 1 or more +1/+1, okay, don't care about that. Gets +1/+1 whenever it attacks for Veil 2, which is even what? Look at the top 2 cards, then put any number of them into your graveyard, rest on top of your library. I might have to settle for some of these, even though they're not very good. I literally just want to beat. It's not even like an OTK idea that I'm trying to do. It's literally like just, you know, buff it and slowly hit them over the course of the game. And if they can't do anything about it, if they don't have an AoE or something, you would just win with that alone. But you could always combine it with other colors that actually have buffs, which white is typically known for that. As long as it's legendary, which of course it's not. +1/+1 whenever it deals damage to a player, which it will be consistently doing. Okay, I can make that. I mean, I'm going to have to make do with what I got here, but let's see what else there is. This includes even the ones I don't have. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 whenever it deals combat to a player. You may draw a card at the beginning of your end step if you didn't attack a creature this turn. You'll always be able to attack because you can just hit their face regardless of what they're doing. Target creature gets till end of turn. Don't really care. Creatures with power less than it can't block. Can't block it. Distribute X1/1s among any number of target creatures you control. What does that mean though? Oh, if you play it as like a green card, which we're not allowed to do anymore. That's the ultimate punishment for me in this game, that I don't get to use green in any sense for a while at least. Exile target creature you control, then return that. If it's a spirit, put a +1/+1. Is it a spirit? It kind of looks like one. Human Rogue. Gearsmith Prodigy gets +1. Okay, I don't care about that. 4/4 something something +0/+1. A lot of these give something hexproof too, because they, we already have hexproof, so we don't need anything else. But I'm kind of disappointed with the lack of them. Like, there really weren't that many. And of course, every other color has even less, right? Blue is supposed to specialize in that. +0/+2. Don't really care too much about that. Mainly attack that you want to give it, but you do want to keep it. I mean, there are a lot of buffs here, to be fair, but they're just not very good buffs. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, attach it to target creature you control. I mean, that one's not bad, but I can't even make it. And of course, you can't disenchant cards in this game anyway. I should have had to disenchant my whole green collection, or everything that was in one of those decks, like, that I had used in that gauntlet. You get +1/+1, doesn't matter. Ones that end at the end of the turn, or that relate to the card itself. +1/+1 flying. What is Jumpstart? We've almost never seen this keyword. You may cast this from your graveyard by discarding card in addition to paying its other cost. If it was kicked, put 2 +1/+1. Okay, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. I thought there'd be somehow more to it. Until the end of the turn, you get +2/+0. Don't really care. Enchant creature gets... Okay, they keep doing these troll ones that are +0. What's the point of a +0 buff? You're giving them health, which I guess makes them more AoE resistant, but that's not enough. Merfolk. Hexproof till end of turn. Doesn't really matter. +1/+1. It phases out. But he's already phased out because he's invisible. Yeah, what does that mean? Permanents that phase out and anything attached to them are treated as if they don't exist until the start of their controller's next turn. I was never here. Kind of fitting for it, actually, but I don't know. We have enough of those that do kind of the same thing. Put a +1/+1 counter on itself. When it enters the battlefield, if you do, put a +1/+1. We're still at 1 cost, though, so maybe there are more of these than I'm giving it credit for. This should be like every card in the history of the game, too, that it's showing me. Or at least in the history of this game, not the actual physical game. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. I mean, how many of the same fucking things can we have? Whenever it deals common damage, you may sacrifice a talisman. If you do, create a token that's a copy of this creature. So would it actually be a true copy, though, that would have the... That could be insane, actually. But I'm not going to have enough of these to make that actually worth it. You may sacrifice... I guess you could just do it once. I'm not going to put like 4 of those in there. Enchant creature gets +1. It can't be blocked. How ironic. Because give it hexproof and the ability to not be blocked. As if that's not what we're doing in the fucking first place over here. Or you know what I said I wanted to make too was a ward deck. But I guess we completely forgot about it. And we wasted all our wild cards. I was going to make a blue deck that's only about wards. Instead of hexproof. It's +2/+1 and ward. Don't really care about that right now. But I mean, hexproof is just a better version of it, so why would it even matter? Put 4 +1/+1s. Standing creature gets +2/+2 as long as it's a detective you control. Standing creature gets +1/+1 and has flying. Which again, flying almost doesn't matter either because you can't block it anyway. So again, the only way you can deal with this is... Opters you control. That sounds like such a memeable word. +1/+1. Kind of the same shit that we have anyway. There's really nothing else that we can do with this. I guess we could put a few flying things in here too. +2/+0 as you draw 2 or more cards. Gotta be like a stronger buff. Like, let's just look further. One that's like gold and is actually a good buff. Other merfolk, don't really care about that. It's waste like literally every fucking card we have. Unironically, we've done that. At first I thought that vault meant like your total, like how many cards in the history of the game do you have? So I have 32% of all the cards in the game, which I think is definitely not true. But it actually just means like how close you are to getting to the next mythic one or whatever. in the rotation that he gives you. There's just not enough of this shit here. Flying other spirits, don't really care about that. I mean, some of these might already be... No, merfolk. Whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield, he gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Like, why is that their favorite fucking keyword phrase as blue? Flying, when it enters, put 3 oil counters, remove it. Doesn't really matter. When it enters the battlefield, other pirates. These are 2 specific synergies that are not going to work with what I'm trying to do. Ingenious Scab gets +1/-1. Okay, doesn't matter. This is all merfolk related shit, which I've never used a deck like that. Almost degenerated using a goblin deck is red. Whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1. If you do, put a +1/+1. Other shirts get +1/+1. Chain creature gets +1/+1 and flying. I mean, I guess some of these could be good for other ones. Like if you're going to give them flying, I'm kind of just only tunnel visioning on the Invisible Stalker because most of these other ones aren't that good. Like, you know, you're paying 5 for a 3/2, but it does have the combination of troll annoying effects. Like it's flying and it's hexproof, so there's nothing you can do about it unless you have like an AoE. So you might be able to win in that manner as well. I don't know. It's going to be obviously way too slow, but when it does work, it'll be kind of a troll fun thing to do. Enter the battlefield, +1/+1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, which I'll never do unless it's a buff. Which again, that's the greatest strength of Hexproof, is that it doesn't have the downside that you can't target them either. With spells, like how Elusive does in Hearthstone or something. As long as you control 8 or more lands, it's kind of pointless. Look how hard you have to get to work to get that one to work. Why not just play the Invisible Stalker instead? It just can't be blocked, period. Sure, it's a little bit weaker, but just buff it with all these innumerable buffs that we can clearly not struggle to find. +2/+0, no. None of these cards are fucking good. Just give me like a +5/+5 permanent buff for even commensurate cost. Like, why is this so hard to find? +1/+1. Whenever you draw a second card, doesn't matter. It would have to be like a gold one that we can even do. We can craft. I'll make 2 of them. If there is such a card in the first place in the whole fucking game. Collection of blue. +1/+1 counter on it. If it's a creature, it enters with additional loyalty counter. As a copy of a creature. Okay, this could be good, I guess. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except it enters with an additional +1/+1 on it if it's a creature. So that could be worth it because you'll get... It's a 2/2 Invisible Stalker. I'll only make 1, though, just in case there's something else good. Like a gold one. Creatures you don't control get -2/-0. This creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact. We're not going to worry about those. But yeah, I fucking forgot about the ward one that I said I might want to do at some point. Just like we move on from Hexproof and we craft everything to do with the wards. +1/+1 to itself, though. Whenever you cast your second spell, we're not even going to cast 1 fucking spell, dude. Or, of course, creatures count as spells, too. That's why it's so dumb. Like, it's a creature spell. So, like, even that black card that makes everything... Whenever they play a spell, they take 5 damage. But it doesn't even mean, like, an actual spell. It means, like, anything. You know, creatures are spells. Everything is a spell. Let's look for a gold one that we can actually buff with. So stupid, man. Attacking creatures with flying at +1/+1 till end of turn. I wouldn't even say there aren't enough buff cards, but they're not face down. What is this, like Yu-Gi-Oh or something? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get till end of turn. Other creatures with flying get +1/+0. We don't really use planeswalkers too much. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards, instead put 5 +1/+1s. Artifacts you can have flying. We still have 11 cards left to fill in, so I guess I'd have no choice but to be degenerate and just put in flying stuff, because there's nothing else really. So let's see what flying blue ones we have, and chances are we don't have too many good ones. Right, so we have like 4 copies of multiple, you know, hexproof blue cards, but there still aren't enough. And this is supposed to be the one that is obviously the color that has the most of it. Hypnotic Grifter, Connives. Got to be something a little better than this. Like, come on. The whole mill thing I don't really like is an idea. Yeah, blue represents like so many things I don't really like to play as, at least. Like either mill or like just heavy removal stuff or like crazy, you know, long-winded combos and just annoying stuff. There's going to be like no removal that I put in here either. I'm just so focused on my little one tunnel vision idea that we have here. So let's do a best of 3 with it at least a couple times. Or we should almost have had like a couple ones to go between, but I guess I'll just do the same one here since we've burned through every deck that I have ever had in this game, which is, again, a lot of them are basically the same fucking thing. Come on, just like a well-statted, we need like a well-statted slider where it's not all these shitty other effects. Flying, 2 mana, 3/4, but when it becomes crewed, up to 1 other vehicle. Wait. What? I don't get it. Crew, tap any number of creatures you control, total power 3 or more, becomes an artifact creature. Okay, so it's not going to work outright. Such a good stat line would only be possible with a green card, right? Where you get a 5 mana 10/10 for no downside, aside from just being a green fiend, like fucking, you know, requiring 5 green. But I do that anyway, so. Okay, we need 11 things to fit in here, though. It's going to be pretty hard. It's almost like the game is telling me, use something else, like use removal or anything. But I just don't like doing that. Especially, imagine what an insult that is to blue when that's the whole point of it, it seems like. Enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, doesn't... Well, what does this have to do with flying, though? Or am I not even looking... Wait, what? I thought I was looking up everything with flying. Whatever, let's just go to a higher cost threshold so we would know. What the fuck? I guess we don't have very many. It doesn't mean that blue doesn't have that many. 7 mana, 3/7. Whenever a creature with flying attacks, you may draw a card. Like, I guess I'll just do it, despite how shitty some of these things are. Invoke is pretty shitty. 6 mana, 5/5. I'll just do it. Whatever I got, dude. I'm not going to be picky about it. Garbage fucking blue cards that we have. This one's fine. We'll just go with that. Sometimes I'll put like 1 copy of each thing just so we have a variety of them, but you know, most of their effects are not going to be very relevant to me. Okay, let's do a best of 3 with this. I guess we could do it in timeless still. Or I almost wanted to go back to historic, but it doesn't really matter. But you might see even crazier shit that we get our ass beat with here than in even historic. I don't think I've hardly played in standard maybe at all. Maybe not even once. Right, I guess a draft would count kind of as being in standard, but, you know, as far as the actual format, because I don't see what the point is. You just get to use more variety of stuff here, period. Yeah, I love that. They go from one copied Hearthstone expansion to another, like back to back. At least space it out a little bit. Or maybe some of the other ones that I've seen have been based on that, but like, what was Caverns of Zixalan based on? It didn't seem like... I can't think of a Hearthstone expansion that had to do with dinosaurs that much or anything like that. I don't know, like, I don't know why they've gone down that road when they have such a rich universe of their own to draw from, or at least they steal from other universes like, whatever, Lord of the Rings and all that kind of shit. So let's see how badly this does, but the whole core point is keep trying to buff the Invisible Stalkers and just win with that, which almost obligates you to have an Invisible Stalker in your hand, which, just remember, we do... I mean, look, dude. We do have 4 of them, just to be clear, right? So, I don't know what more you can expect of me. You just want 1 of them. You just want 1. Like, what the fuck? I'm going to keep doing it until I get one. I'll get rid of my whole hand, because you might think, oh, that's a waste, but I literally don't have anything else in here, like, that I can play. They're all, like, super high cost. It's totally going to pay off, too, if you can't deal with it, which... Again, you might not be able to, especially early on. You could have some other effect, I guess, that bypasses it, but... Or you're just going to make me discard it. Wow, dude, what a perfect way to punish my mulligan stupidity. Like, I mulligan everything for one card, and then he has the perfect thing to just make me discard it. What a great game. So stupid, man. But most of the shit in here is just not very good. And of course, the one harsh truth of this is you're going to realize how much I rely on and take for granted the mana generating minions of green. Like, you get all these Carrotids and stuff. So the land alone would not be enough to carry you normally, even with those more efficient cards than what we have here, when these are very inefficient. Like, what, this is going to be even worse than I thought it was going to be. But if I just start off, it's got to be like one of those best case scenario things, like a lot of my decks are. It can be fun and annoying for them if it works. Like, if you get the Invisible Stalker, that's not much to ask though. Just give it to me at the beginning and just let me wail on them for like 20 turns. And as long as they can't heal or stop it, then it is what it is. Let's actually just see this one play out though. Holy shit. Flying lifelink, pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. Pretty cool theme he's got going. Enchant creature, yeah, that's really gonna win you the game there. I mean, we have the other hexproof ones in there more so just as a gimmick, just to fuck, just to wait. Is that only till end of turn? Or no, if you didn't attack. But the premise of it is we can still come back and win the next 2. The premise of it is that you'd be using it on the guy who can always attack because he can't be blocked, so it wouldn't be a concern. But look, this guy started off a little too crazy, and I've maybe played into it too. I mean, even if I decline, it doesn't stop him from doing it. Doesn't mean it's going to go that badly for me, though. Like, at least let me get my Invisible Stalker out there. But again, the one thing that really counters it is if you can heal, because you're relying on the fact that, you know, the game lasts 20 turns, and I hit them 20 times with that, and they couldn't stop it. And that's all you would need, because, you know, whatever. Healing is just degenerate, even though the whole mechanic in this game is based around every minion heals at the end of every turn, like, automatically, right? So if you get it down to 1 health, it doesn't matter. So that's the whole fucking thing, but which actually favors all the big creatures that I use, like his green, where it's like, okay, bro. Okay, like really though, really, what are the odds of having 1 out of the 4? It's not really that surprising, but whatever. Yeah, this will be some flying hexproof blue committed deck, which I don't think I've ever used one like that before. Let's just get rid of everything that is going to be high cost and inefficient, which is basically the whole fucking deck. So at least if we can get that out there, but he's gonna make me discard it. What a fun interaction that is. But if you can't make me discard it, then you might not be able to ever deal with it. But he did show obviously the lifelink capability. You can't counter, no, I guess you could counter it, right? It doesn't mean. Now, look how crazy this is going to be. This is an OTK combo. Just buff it up a million times. If there were actually decent buffs in this whole game, I really would have to combine it with another class, because there's no other fucking good buffs, dude. They're all garbage. And even that mythic card I made is stupid, too. It's not even good. It's just one of those annoying ones that'll stall the game out. Like, oh, you attack my little 0/2, and then I make you untap for... or I tap you for a whole nother turn. Like, wow, how crazy. Or maybe that means it'll be permanently untapped because it won't reset, not just during the next phase, but during any phase. Let me guess, he's gonna counter it or something. Like, yeah, just give me 7 turns here, bro. 7 turns with no healing, no nothing that you got up your sleeve. Are you serious, bro? Like, there are ways to deal with it, yes, but that's so fucking stupid, man. At least let me see the interaction that I want one time, bro. But no, I could obviously find other buffs and other colors. I think you were playing the wrong format. I don't know. I won a couple sets with my other shitty decks the last time in Timeless. It doesn't mean everybody's using something crazy, but this guy's obviously a little bit decked out. I mean, he's playing pretty slowly this time. But that's hilarious. Like, this is my first game playing of this, and he has to counter everything I'm doing again, like, he can still win the game, but it doesn't mean you at least don't deny me the ability to do what I'm trying to do. All he has is 7 attack minions too. 7 sevens. He win already is the show and tell combo. Yeah, it's not really that hard to... Holy shit. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each card type among... This thing looks so awesome, actually. After that turn, player takes an extra turn. Yeah, look, dude, we get it. But let's let him actually have the satisfaction. Good game. Timeless is a format. Yeah, it's gonna be even crazier, but I always play historic normally, just because I like the variety of cards. Okay, we'll do another one, best of 3, just to see. We must have been going against some real clowns though in here, because, you know, it's not like what I was using last time was that much better, but we at least had a chance to win some of these games. So this guy's just an exception. Not everybody is going to be taking advantage of it, at least. Okay, he's trying to troll me. Dude, I was trying to give you the honorable kill. So we have one condition, that we have to play the Invisible Stalker. Well, first of all, get it in our opening hand. And then we have to keep it out there. And we've had that happen even when I was using it in a green hybrid thing. Like, there's obviously some probably meta way to do this too that is established, but then again, probably nobody would even want to bother. It's not like it's a very good idea, but it's just the whole troll style that, oh, they can't possibly deal with it, which he dealt with it pretty fucking easily though. Like, don't make me discard it and don't make me sacrifice it. So then what else can you do? Just use an AoE, which surprisingly is pretty rare. Like, how often do I see AoEs on a regular basis in this game when most of my decks are board heavy? And the answer is, some games you just don't even see one at all. It's usually white that has one that is really good, that clears the whole board. I think red has maybe a few, but they're not very efficient. That is one thing that I'm very surprised at the lacking of in this game, is the AoEs, or at least how uncommonly people use them. Especially in a game that has an infinite board size where you can just, you know, have as many things as you want out there. Which I discovered in the most cinematic way possible with somebody playing the World Tree thing where they summon like every god card in their deck and they had like 100 of them. So that was the first time I ever saw them have like more than 5 or 6 things where they had to actually shrink down to fit all of them. And I'm like thinking it's like a bug or like it's a interaction just for that, but you can just do that normally anyway. I'm not new, but I kind of have been playing very, like, irregularly and sort of casually. Okay, this is fine, actually. I'll live with that. We'll hope we get another land. Like, I just make kind of weird gimmick ideas. I'm not really trying to do anything serious. For now, anyway. Okay, look, dude. You're gonna do... Now, I outed my... Wait, no, but you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that. He's just doing it... I outed myself the last best of 3 in the first one because I mulliganed my whole existence to try to get that. How does everybody just have that? Like, I guess it must just be a meta card, but like, come on, dude. This is the one that I actually wanted since I love dinosaurs so much. The only dinosaurs we'll be seeing from now is my avatar because, or this because, well, we have a couple of blue ones, but they're not going to be very good. In fact, that one in particular is sad because you have to choose between flying and hexproof when the whole point would be that you would want both. Demonic Tutor, search for library for a card, put that in your hand, shuffle. One thing I really wish they had done is I wish they had put a lot of the cards from the original game into this game, or I mean like all of them, because people always say that, like, oh, you know, it's missing a lot, you know, 10,000 plus cards from the actual physical game. Like, why wouldn't you take advantage of the opportunity to do that? Because, like, it's not just my first time playing Arena, but it's my first time playing Magic in any form. So it would be a great chance to see that, but I would have to do that in some other capacity then. Okay, now we can get one down and just win the game like this, assuming that... I mean, they end up doing more damage to themselves than I do. Like, is he going to really feel threatened by this? We're going to have 2 Invisible Stalkers and no real good way to buff them. But that 2 life that you gain is going to mitigate my whole strategy here. Look, there are certain pace games where this can work pretty well that we've played. Like, it's just we're not seeing that right now so far. At least they're letting me actually do it. Like, look how satisfying that is. There's nothing you can do about it. Maybe ever. Now, the goal isn't necessarily even to have so many of these out there. It's just to buff one. But I don't really have it. I mean, all these cards are so fucking unbelievably inefficient. I can't believe it. Blue just sucks even worse than I thought. Or, you know, one theme I could go for in addition to the ward one that I want to do is like make all these old god Cthulhu looking things. There's a whole bunch of those that expensive cards for this format, or just like inefficient too. They're expensive, but they're not even worth it because they just suck. Fuck. I don't know why this format didn't seem as bad the last couple times. I've been playing it for a while. Yeah, this one at least went a little better, or at least it gave you like a remote chance to actually play something. Or again, I'm used to green where I get spoiled by all the minions that give you mana, which of course you don't get that here. Even if you can't, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, this is fine. You can still come back and win 2 in a row. Like, what would be the best case scenario for this? Like, they would have to just not play stuff on the board and have a deck that's very removal heavy, right? Where they're expecting to be able to do that, and then, oh no, they can't do it because we only have hexproof, and we kind of... That's what I always love doing in other games. Like, you just kind of negate everything they try to do. Jinzo, Spell Canceller, shit that I had a fetish for that, or for whatever, Elusive before it even had a name in Hearthstone. That's the one excuse that I used to even use blue when I was doing, you know, all my green decks, is I would still, okay, fine, I want to use hexproof, so I'll settle for using blue because of that. But then I still wouldn't use any blue lands. I would just... you know, use the gain 1 mana of any color minion effects to get the blue, because I was so repulsed by it. Like, oh, I'm not going to actually use any islands in here. Okay, this is fine. This is the one that we just wasted a mythic wild card on. Like, what the fuck is this, dude? It's garbage. I mean, I get it, but... fuck you, dude. Now you're going to do the Invisible Stalker again. Or yeah, do the mythic. Do the mythic one. You're only doing that because it's the lowest cost one, not because you know it's my whole strategy and win condition. I might put that one thing in there, but then again, I won't know. I won't be able to use it though because... whoops. Or no, I guess that doesn't matter. The... whatever it's called, I can't remember. It's like the one chick that becomes a werewolf that buffs everything on the board. That would be perfect for this deck. But the problem is that I won't have the green mana because I'm committing so hard to this. This is even more mana screwed than I thought it would be. But there's no like low cost cards that fit into this whole team. I won't even necessarily blame the format. Okay, let's just expedite this shit. Yeah, either I didn't notice that there was timeless before, or they just added it recently, because I would always play on historic, but like, what is even the difference? There's just a few cards that would be banned here. Play with a curated list of cards throughout Magic Arena's history versus just play with all the cards, which is perfect for someone who is like me, who likes that kind of thing. But even if it means I get my ass beat even worse than normal. Okay, we'll have like a normal matchup one of these times, I swear. We are at like a low rank too, but I guess it just doesn't matter. Everybody's gonna be tryharding like crazy. We just want to have one game where we actually get a good Invisible Stalker payoff. But I don't mind making like a hybrid color thing here too. This is at least a different deck than what I've used before. Which I'm trying to do more of that since we've sort of beat some of those decks I've used to death. Okay, look, they're also bronze. So clearly they must be using a bad deck by this timeless format standards, which might still be extremely, extremely high. Okay, this is a perfect hand. Right, you get 2 of the Invisible Stalkers, but... yeah, there's just no 2 or 3 cost anything in this whole deck. Or all the low cost stuff is going to be... just like buff spells and stuff like that, which would still be worth it. Like, green isn't going to have removal because it often, at least for me, it often doesn't. Like, Master's Rebuke is the only one I ever use. So clearly, like, watch them have the exact answer for what the shit I'm doing, too. Like, it doesn't seem that threatening. Oh, I'm just summoning a 1/1. Like, don't worry about it, dude. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to sit here for 10 turns hitting you in the face for 1 and 1 and just win like that. That's clearly not going to happen. Right, so don't even worry about it. Just play slow. This would be very satisfying. You just got to find, like, what is the best buff card in the game that I'm obviously not thinking of. Something that just gives it +5/+5 for good. There's a green card like that, right? Where, you know, now it's a 6/6 and you just... I mean, it would take some time to get there. But we would still end up doing green-blue hybrid, but in a different way. Where, like, I can't use minions from green except for... Let me find that one chick, though. I feel like I wanted to try to make a point not to use green, though, for a while, just because I've used it too much. It just would fit so perfectly. I'll make, like, a lifeline. Okay, I can use, like, 3 green cards. So I'll use the Worgen, I'll use the thing. No, but then it doesn't work, because I won't have the land for it. And I'm not going to, like, split the land down the middle, since we're committing to blue so hard, either. You know, if this just lasts long enough, but I also don't have an answer for that, either. We need a couple more lands, and then we can do this, and that'll slow it down a bit. Okay, dude. That's fine for now. Nothing I'm going to be able to do about that either, though. But look, we got a 2/2 Invisible Stalker that you can't block. Holy shit. It has the makings of a good idea in there, but obviously I have to do it a little better. Draw a card, doesn't really matter. Maybe I could do a blue-white one, and that would somehow have some buffs in there too, right? To try to move away from the color of... It's not even that I want it to be that good. I just want it to be more cohesive with the theme of what I'm trying to do. Because, yeah, white does have some pretty good buff cards in there. I mean, you should just lose to this alone. Like, it doesn't... I can never tell whether these are bots or they're BMing you. Because, like, we get the point, dude. Just do it. You didn't have to do that. Yeah, what was that one OTK somebody was telling me about where you can do like 1 billion damage, like the Devil's Valet? You could do it the same way as that. Like, what is the... What? No, but I guess the buff of that comes with the effect of itself. Right, but it's the same principle that, like, you can't do anything to stop the Invisible Stalker. So all I would need is 1 turn and a ton of buffs, and you could potentially, you know, do something crazy just with the right ones. That's the one thing about this game I feel like people shit on the most, is the fact that you can't disenchant stuff. Like, break down a mythic card, break down 4 mythic cards to create 1 mythic card. So, like, 4 that you don't want. Now, that's still a pricey proposition, right? But it would still be worth it because you get to... Whatever, like, at least you have that option. Right, which even fucking Plants vs. Zombies Heroes, a mobile exclusive game that's dead and didn't have, like, much development support even when it was alive, you know, you still have that ability there. Those are the 2 ways you control Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone. did you know that Plants vs. Zombies Heroes, a game for little kids that's like a fucking casual, mobile-only clicker card game, has a bigger card deck size than Hearthstone, where it has 40 cards base instead of 30, and you have to wait till Renathal came out to match that. So like Hearthstone is more casual than even that, even though it's not, obviously, but still. And then you also have where this game, you know, oh, it has the ability to disenchant stuff, and this doesn't. Like, you're getting absolutely clowned by a game that is not bad, but it never really had its chance to blossom because it's just... Oh, that is a pretty sick animation. I'd make that card just for that reason alone. Titan of Nature's Wrath. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. I mean, this person is a bronze, though, for a reason, right? Maybe they just started playing, but, like, for the month or the season or whatever, but, like, clearly what these people are using is at least a little better than bronze, or it might just be a total clusterfuck where everybody's using something god level, so it's hard to even distinguish. Not that it would take something that good to even beat me still, but... Why did I feel like this really wasn't that... Maybe that other deck I was using was a lot better than I give it credit for. Or it just seems like people are tryharding a little more today than usual. Thing is, I'm just not going to have any removal, so I just have to deal with it. Okay, so after we lose this one, inevitably, let me try to maybe combine it with white for some buffs. And some lower cost cards maybe in general. I'm going to become the very thing I swore to destroy. One of those annoying heal buff decks that I always clown. But... yeah, this blue value is just not good enough. So let me get rid of like the multiple copies of some of these. Or rather, what I should do is relegate the flying. So I'll still do all the hexproof ones that we have here. But I'll relegate the flying to white, right? So white will be flying and buffs, and then this will be just the hexproof minions. I'm combining my two most hated colors of all time in the game, of course. See, this is why I don't even mind like losing games or anything like that. Like, that's not what I care about. I more so I just want to see, you know, try what I'm trying to do or whatever, because it's like, you know, that even the best player of this game ever in the history of the world, who I guess I should know that just as a reference point, like who is the Mewtwo king or whoever the fuck of this game, they couldn't do any better with this deck either. They just wouldn't use it because it's dog shit. Like, so it's a means argument, and if I use the best decks, I would look at least a lot better, even if I don't know entirely what I'm doing. All these infinite interactions seem weird though, like in a real world context. Like, it just seems like it'd be so confusing to keep track of these things. Assuming that they work kind of the same way, which I think a lot of them would. Some of these infinite loops, and you need like a mathematician on board to figure some of this shit out. Okay, dude, look. We did win at least a couple best of threes in this whole setup that I've been doing, right, with all my other green decks, right? So it's not like, and it was in the timeless format, so we at least won a game in some of the sets, or we won like a, whatever, we won a... I wasn't expecting to have to go to white, but I'm really trying to avoid using... let's get rid of 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, then we'll put in 10 whites and split it right down the middle. Or it might be that I even have less to do. Like, I'll see how many hexproof things we really have, and maybe we prioritize white even more than that. Like, no, I think probably that would be fine. Let me get rid of everything here that are all these shitty buffs that didn't do anything for me. Right, so I'll only keep the hexproof minions, of which we obviously have 4 of those. And what did I even just get rid of? I don't know. These are not very good, so like, let me... I don't know. Like, I still want them in there just in principle, though. We have... Oh, fuck, I keep... Here, let's just get rid of everything, and then I'll just put the hexproof minions in, because that's basically all I want. Right, you don't need the... What was the other mechanic I was trying to do there? Flying, I guess. Flying for blue, but it's kind of garbage, or at least what I have for it is garbage. Let's look again. What do we actually have that's hexproof? We want like maybe 1 copy of each thing. But assuming one copy of even the best ones. And again, that was the biggest waste of a mythic card ever. This one at least is fun for the whole troll capability. In fact, I almost want to do 4 of those for the same reason. It's just so expensive though. I don't know. Hexproof, hexproof. This one's kind of a fun effect. I mean, we still do have to fill this in a little bit, so maybe I will put some more of these, right? Like, we have 20 lands, so that means we have, you know, we want 20 blue cards, and then we want 20 white cards. So those will be all heals and buffs. Or, sorry, flying and buffs. We will still fill in some of these. This one is so fucking garbage statted, which of course hurts me even more as somebody who loves green so much because of its amazing statting. You show me a 5-mana 10/10 and I fell in love immediately as soon as I saw that. Gigantosaurus or whatever. So let's go white. Alright, so let's see. It gets +1/+3 until end of turn. They're still gonna troll me with that. How everything is till the end of the turn only. Let's see. So we'll go through. There is some crazy buff, I think, that gives like +4/+4 or something. This is still timeless, I think. The best blue card in standard is Jin. You might want to build around him, really. It can't be this one, is it? The stupid one that I was using? Or that would be blue, right? Is it this one? Flying Domain. When it enters the battlefield, conjure a random card from a spellbook to your hand, then fewer cards. But that one's not even hexproof. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1. Haughty. Oh, a different one altogether that I probably don't even have. Or no, oh no, this one. Powers equal the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. Instant, yeah, but see, I don't really like using instant and sorcery spells much. Or at least I don't want to now. Okay, let's do the flying set. We'll do 10 flying cards and 10 buff cards. Simple. Right, whatever, 10 best flying. And we almost want lower cost ones for white because, you know, we just have such a lack of these. Flying Vigilance, 1 cost. When it dies, target creature you control explores. Kind of want something a little bit, this is kind of a good effect. I mean, but it costs 4. Create a 4/4. Like, why couldn't I do this even though I'm not committing to create a 4/4, activate only if you have 7 or more life? I'm never going to have that though, I guess. Flying Vigilance. It needs to be a little better statted though. So end of turn. Return target creature. I'm still not going to have any removal really. Flying Vigilance. Each other angel you control enters with a +1/+1. 10 mana only. I mean, that's still okay though. Just as a straight up 2 mana 2/2, I guess is the best we're going to get. Right, 3 mana 2/2. If you would gain life, gain that +1 instead. Gets +2/+2. I don't know what we're going to have that really gives us much life, but just give me like a 3/3 or something actually properly statted. Flying Toxic. When it enters the battlefield, gain 1 life, draw a card. Come on, where are the better statted ones? 4 mana 4/4. There we go. Other creatures you control that are enchanted. Okay, see, I don't even care about the effect. I'm just going for the 1-to-1 baseline statting. Whenever another creature enters, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate. Don't really care about that. Yeah, so much for them being lower cost too. This is going to be just as mana screwed as anything else. Enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 cards. Group creature has flying. Yeah, how about stuff like this? Okay, when it enters, it's still bad, but this will be for some of the buff capabilities, I guess. Enchant creature gets +3/+3 and has flying. See, even this is what I mean. It's not really good, but that's still better than any of the buffs we saw with the other thing. With blue. Where are all the buffs, bro? I don't get it. Okay, these are all too expensive. So we have... Oh, we gotta put a lot more in here, though. Okay, this is 6 mana, 3/5. Excuse to use a dinosaur too. When I enter the battle, I'll just use whatever. We got at least like 1 of each. Creatures you control +1/+1 encounters on them have base power, toughness. Oh, that's interesting. 4/4 flying and are angels. Okay, that could be good, but with +1/+1 encountered. I mean, the assumption is we're going to have that, but I don't know what we're really getting it from. 6 mana, 3/3. Creatures you control get +1 until... Why is it always till end of turn, man? 6 mana, 4/3. Yeah, I feel like we're never going to actually use that one. As long as your opponent has 3 or more poison counters, not going to do that. Whenever one of your more of your creatures control attack, they gain indestructible till end of turn. We're doing that more so just for the base flying thing. 5 mana, 5/5. Wow. Best card ever, am I right? Fucking proper statting. 5 mana, 3/4. Enters the battlefield, exile to 1 card. I mean, this is still okay statting. 5 mana, 4/4. By the very low standard we have here. And then cast this creature spell only if a creature is attacking you. Okay, so we'll do this, and then we have to do the buff ones, which I don't really get. Maybe we'll just do that, because it's the best of both worlds, even though it's shitty value. We have 9 more cards, so let's try to get mostly the buffs in here, because those were mostly flying. So what is a buff card that we actually have? I guess we can't craft 2 anymore, unless there is like a golden one here. Right, we have 1 left. I always complain about white buffing, but I guess normally that buffs itself. Like, it won't buff another of your minions. It'll be like every time something is healed, you get +1/+1 to this thing. And they keep doing that shit over and over and over. I guess that's more of a historic thing, because here they're doing even crazier things, but that just seems like it's some budget deck that everybody would use there. Right, that's maybe not even that good, but it would always just kind of hard counter what I was trying to do with my green decks. Whenever you gain life, yeah, here we go, dude. As long as it has 4 more +1/+1s. I thought I already had that, though. I'm just not seeing anything like... Here, let's just do that. There's not really much we could craft anyway, but... Sacrifice it, creature gets +2/+2 and flying, everything's till end of turn. Oh my god. 1 and 3. I mean, obviously these would be too efficient if that wasn't the case, but most of the buffs we're gonna get then are even just from I guess +1/+1. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or greater. Okay, that's fine, even though it's a little bit inefficient too. This guy always reminds me of the guy from the beginning of Hellraiser, where he's trying to solve the puzzle in his dark little room, right? The guy's brother Frank. Remove 2 +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. Destroy artifact or enchantment. Don't really want that. Quick creature gets +2/+2. I mean, look, dude. This is the best we're gonna get, I guess. Yeah, this is one of those stupid ones. I mean, I'm not gonna stoop to that yet, though. You've been here the whole time. Oh, what are you up to? Flash, flying, creatures you control get +1/+1. Playing Minecraft still. Doing your netherite crafting. Yeah, Minecraft, he's obsessed. That'll have to be my next long, slow-paced fucking survival series after Ark. Gets +1/+0 for each legendary you control. Group creature gets +2/+0. Okay, some of these are just gonna be the best buffs we can have. Gets +2/+2 until end, for fuck's sake. Disturb, whenever 1 or more +1/+1s are put. Group creature gets +2/+1. We'll just settle for each of these, I guess. Whenever you cast, copy, don't really care. +1/+1. I mean, you could just do a deck with all these, like just, you know, whatever. Whenever someone summons something, you get +1. You get +1 life, and then whenever something heals, you get whatever. What would you want to do on Wednesday if we did another duo thing? Probably not this week, but Call of Duty or something. I don't know. What else were you suggesting? Anything besides Minecraft, because I don't want to spoil my experience on it. My world's first blind playthrough, because nobody ever has been able to figure out every recipe on their own, probably. Creature tokens get +1/+1. Don't really care about that. But a +1/+1. Oh, here we go. Look at this. This is exactly what you want. Enters the battlefield if it was kicked. Okay, but I don't have the green to be able to kick it. Another cat enters the battlefield. Don't really care. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. If you would gain life, okay. Don't really care about that. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Let's just do that, and then grip creature gets +1/+1 for each counter. If it was permanent, put +1/+1. Whenever another artifact, don't really care about that. But there wasn't like a big buff. You got GTA 5, Fortnite, and Call of Duty. Choose one of those three. Okay, do you have GTA on the PC? Or I guess I have it on my PS4. I don't know how much it's a cross-platform. We could do another episode of that because I had done that recently. PS5? Or yeah, that should still work, right? Because if I have the PS4, I'm pretty sure that should work. If I have the PS4 version, it should still translate over to PS5, I think. Let's see. One more card, any kind of shitty buff. +2/+2 till end of turn. There's obviously a more efficient way to search, but I'm always too lazy to try to figure that out. Put a +1/+1 until end of turn. Give me like another +2/+2 buff, period. Oh my god. Some of these are so inefficient too. Like, what the fuck is this? Clearly, we're not in the forest anymore. We're not using green anymore. As long as it's equipped, okay. So yeah, we totally forgot about the whole ward interaction. What were the two things I said? I want to make a ward focused one, and then I want to make another one that I can't even remember. Indestructible. Oh my god, bro. The beginning of combat, put a +1/+1. Yeah, like that. Okay, there you go. Done. Let's just do a best of 3 with this one, and we'll kind of keep working on iterating these and trying to stay away from green as much as possible. Yeah, we can try that on PS5 then. I'll have to see. I'm sure that should work, right? You can like backwards compatibility play stuff. Yeah, of course I can blame my bad aim then on the console controller. Maybe you can use a mouse and keyboard with that, which I don't even know. I've never tried to do that before, as much as I complain about console being so shitty. But it's mainly for like MMOs and stuff that have support for it. I think like Final Fantasy Online, I heard about that one and stuff. Yeah, that one did not go particularly well. Maybe people are just going nuts and timeless, but that's fine with me. So many of these cards are indeed literally timeless, even though I wouldn't know the difference, because again, I haven't played long enough to even know that, but I don't see why I would restrict myself. Like, play a game for the first time and restrict yourself to only 10% of the most recent cards and exclude all the rest. Like, why would you want to do that? Why not just use all of them and use whatever you want? Again, we'll at least have a better curve situation, although this doesn't look too good to me. So we'll rely on beating them with flying, or now we get our ass beat by all these low rank players. Now we'll beat an emerald one or platinum. Right, because they'll be doing something super slow paced and they wouldn't expect to have you. Why do I keep forgetting to put my pet in there? Or maybe it just appears after a while. I should use the rock one because that was supposed to be the troll kind of thing to go along with that cosmetic April Fool's thing that it gave you. Okay, that's something else. Just do this. You know, we'll do flying and he won't have an answer for it, and then we just win. Like, how simple is that? Here we go like this. We just got to get to the point where we can do something a little better here. Look how slow and laborious this is going to be. You have to pay that for 2, then you have to pay it again for 3. Like, why is that worth it in any way? Why would anyone ever do that? And I cannot explain that. Right, it's completely not worth it. I guess here it's fine just because we have mana to blow because we don't have anything else to play, but yeah, watch him just be unable to deal with this 2-2 or underestimate it until it's too late. I'm using one of my favorite mechanics and one of my most hated mechanics, which is obviously I don't like flying, but I do like hexproof. Okay, dude, can I do this in the middle? I guess even if you could, you wouldn't have enough mana for it. Fuck. So we can at least have these buffs ready. So we have 4. Or no, this is not even... I was thinking this is a weapon. Enters the battlefield. Okay, that's fine with me. I mean, not a very good effect, but I would normally be wanting to use that effect on something else, like the Invisible Stalker. Yeah, I saw that they actually have Red Dead on the fucking Nintendo Switch, which should be actually awesome. Not that I'm gonna waste money on it when I have it on my on my PS3, but just because of what a pain it is to get that to work, or to just give you an excuse to play on the Switch, that is kind of fun. Imagine that. Of all the systems you could have put it on, why not put it on PC before you put it on Switch? That's what the Switch was giving all these developers false hope too. Like, oh, we'll totally have a good, long-lasting relationship with the Switch. Like Bethesda and Rockstar probably said that, and then they realized, oh, never mind, it's not even worth the trouble because, you know, we're just not even gonna bother doing it. So they put Skyrim on there, and that was advertised in their original campaign as if that's like some sort of exclusive notable thing, and it just, you know, whatever. And then, you know, that was it. Like the only other Bethesda game on there is like Doom or something, so they kind of gave up trying to put all of them on there. And then the same thing with Rockstar, like they had LA Noire, which is kind of an interesting choice, and then they put Red Dead, I guess, but it just feels like they could have had their whole library, put GTA 5 on there, put everything on there, but you were actually going to win this one somehow against an Emerald player, which makes no fucking sense. What, because they can't deal with just like one little dinky thing over here? Like, what is he doing? This makes no sense to me. Or now he's going to have a crazy combo last play to do. So I had one little minion that he couldn't deal with, and we're gonna, like, look at that. I wish that guy was still here who was saying timeless is so hard, right? Like, what is it now? He's gonna win the game just with that alone. Artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card onto the battlefield. The flying he might not be able to deal with despite whatever this shit is. Cast a card from your hand without paying its mana cost. Come on, he shouldn't be able to deal with it still in one turn, though. He waited too long. In before one turn crazy combo to turn the whole game around. Like, he's done nothing the whole time. Like, I don't get it. Doesn't mean that we'll win the next one either, but now you'll lose to this. Haha, you did all that to get rid of this crazy cat thing. Unbelievable, dude. This is what I mean. Like, what kind of a game is that? How do you win that against a high-ranked opponent when I'm getting spanked by these lower-rated clowns? Makes no sense. This is like some sort of chess analogy. It's like, oh, they know theory so well that they rely on it. So if you do something weird, they'll never expect it. Like, they're not used to going against a deck as shitty as this, so they don't know how to deal with it. So it just fries their brain and just... That's it. So this is a very bad hand that I should mulligan. But at least we have a couple lower... Clearly, that makes this hybrid look good, even though it's worse than what we were just... No, I guess it's a little better, because at least you have stuff to play in the early game, as you saw there, like stuff that doesn't cost 5 for a 2/5, like this garbage. You get the dream come true in the Invisible Stalker thing here, but we will need the blue land, so we could always get cucked on that now. None of my decks ever have any card draw or anything like that in there, you know, it's just always straight up. We could do the same thing with these two, but he might get off to a better start, actually, or now he knows how scary my style of play is. I just love to hear the explanation for that. Like, why is this guy... We're still in timeless mode, if I'm not mistaken. Not that that should make that big of a difference either, but, like, look, dude. I don't get it. Now he's going to play a lot faster, I guess. You put this down, then you put this down, then you can buff it with that. And he showed no ability to actually deal with this, like with even the flying thing. Okay, he's doing that much sooner. Let's do this one so we can troll him with the flying capability. So they're both hexproof and they're both pretty much unblockable because, I mean, unless he summons something with flying here. And you cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Like, what a great game, dude. Just do whatever the fuck you want. Incredible. Like, you would think that should give you an advantage, but at least you can't get rid of these things. He'll get rid of one of the things that buffs it, but all your spells, all your magic, and nothing you can do with them because my minions are just immune to that, so he's not going to have any minions of his own. Right, that's the whole trade-off. I'm not going to be able to play that for like an hour anyway, so just please get rid of it. Don't get rid of this, or that's really the only thing I want. For that incredible buff synergy here, so we'll go ahead and... Oh wow, look at him go, dude. My strategy is too much for this guy to handle. Even though he's obviously going to just... Yeah, nice game, dude. You see the contrast of styles, right? This is hilarious. Like, how do you win that first game, dude? You could say, oh, he's just trolling or he's not trying, but I think he was just more shocked by... It seemed like my style of play was so unthreatening that, oh, I'm holding something back, and then I'm really not, but he's just not ready for it. We're gonna just lose in the mulligan now. Wait, we get pretty much the same setup as last time. Right, where we get to actually summon the Invisible Stalker. Oh, don't do that, or you'll get rid of the wrong one. Remember that cat that almost killed you the last time? Clearly that's more threatening than something that just can't be blocked. Everybody has that card. This is what I mean, that's just like not fun. This is a timeless format where you can use any card in the history of the game, and everybody's using the same thing, like just right away. You think maybe it's a meta card? You think maybe it's good? Like, it's so boring, dude. So boring. And I am aptly the change I wish to see in the world, because I'm not using it, or I'm not using anything, you know. I might use some of the same cards over and over, but it's not because they're good, it's because I like them, like whatever the stuff I use in green is. So how does he keep playing that thing that lets him play everything so cheaply? That costs like 10. Hold on, this would be a good way to cap off this whole hybrid deck that we were using for the first time in my two least favorite colors to actually beat this Emerald player in the best. I mean, even that's a moral... Nice game, dude. A moral victory that you get to... Like, just... I love... I don't know. It's just impossible to explain it. It's so stupid. +2 +0. Just do it then. Or, but you won't be able to do it right away. Yeah, make me discard what little I have left too. Like, you could still win like this if he doesn't have an answer for it, but I think it's unlikely that he'll let you get to that point, because the amount of damage you're doing is still pretty low, but the Invisible Stalker is almost not even relevant here. It's like, whatever I have, you just don't have, you just... Oh, here we go again, dude. What a fun and interactive thing where you get to do the same thing over and over. And it's not really the timeless format that I complain about. It's just more, you know... He's just gonna one-shot me now. The fact that I even beat you once is still, you know what I mean, a pretty... Just look at the difference in the way that those games are going, or the winning and losing. Like, how do you lose to that? That's still the moral victory. He's like, how did I lose to this bronze clown even once? Using this absolutely dumpster tier deck. Even I cannot explain it. To the point where people would almost defend him and say, oh, well, he's probably just trolling. But I don't see why you would, really. The one thing I always miss is the golden pack. I should buy at least that many packs to get that. You have to buy like 10, right? But waste more of this shit on cosmetics. But no, next time I should do the actual 10k draft, right? That'll be the first time during this next expansion that I can do it, obviously, because we miss it by literally a day every time. And then after that, we'll keep messing around with other of these decks. Okay, see you tomorrow.